In my case, I was in bed for 2 years. You
Wow.
feel you're in a dark hole. There is no light, there is no hope. You simply don't know if there is a possibility of getting better. And
Hmm.
certainly for me, the medical profession did not help. Their prognosis was that I'd probably be in bed for the rest of my life. You have to open to what's going on in yourself, in your body, in your mind, in your emotional self. I could see my energy was improving every day by breathing. As soon as I found transformational breath, I was hooked. I did it daily. I would not miss transformational breath for any day for years and years, because that was the one thing when I couldn't really, talk or walk or do anything. The only thing I knew I could rely on was my breath. I've seen people recover from cancer, multiple sclerosis. I've cured from ME. Wellness is our birthright.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Duncan here. I am so excited to be introducing you to another one of my co-authors, and this is someone who, when I read your chapter, Helena, I was really blown away by the depth from, the wellness center that you're running to healing from chronic illness to transformational breath work and all the modalities, going to the spiritual centers around the world. I really loved your chapter, so I'm so grateful that you wrote this chapter in our Superconscious Wellness book. I'd love, though, to hear from you a quick introduction of who you are and why you're so passionate about wellness.
Thank you, Chris. Lovely to be here with you. So my name is Helena Boland. I'm an Irish woman. I live in London, have done for 37 years now. Um, I spent my life in education as a teacher, educator, assessor, and consultant in education. I was a very busy woman in those
Uh,
years. And then in latter years, I studied psychology, organizational psychology, and did some corporate work. And then finally, I'm into the wellness um, way of life, and I run my own well-being centre now in North London. And that all came about because I myself suffered from chronic ill health, and I had to find a way out. And so this is my way, I suppose, of sharing my message.
yeah, well, and it's a great message. And so you have the wellness center, you've got the personal story. So you mean you know intimately, what it's like to have a chronic illness, and I'm sure you help others with it as well. What are some of the biggest challenges for, I mean, it sounds strange to say, but what are some of the biggest challenges for someone with chronic illness and finding a way out of it?
Well, when you're chronically ill, especially in my case, I was in bed for 2 years, you
Wow.
feel you're in a dark hole. There is no light, there is no hope. You simply don't know that there even is a possibility of getting better. And
Hmm.
certainly for me, the medical profession did not help. Their prognosis was that I'd probably be in bed for the rest of my life. So
Gee.
I believe that. So it's something about the challenges are about your own belief system, about what you buy into. And in those early years, I bought into the fact that the medics knew best and that I would be in bed for the rest of my life. So I was in despair actually for a long
Hmm.
time. So that's a
Hmm.
huge challenge. And then it's, by some grace, I came to a knowing in myself that it was possible to change.
Yeah.
And so I was able to get out of bed at the end of about 2 years, and I began my journey then of recovery.
Wow. And so if someone's listening and they themselves have a chronic illness or a family member does, do you have some advice or speak to them directly about what they might do to start moving towards recovering?
So if you're out there and you're suffering from chronic illness, you just know that it is possible to heal. It's possible to heal from anything. Um,
Hmm.
you have to just kind of open to what's going on in yourself, in your body, in your mind, in your emotional self, and really acknowledge it. And then from there, you can begin to work with it rather than against it. You need to understand that we create a lot of our own reality. And so you need support. You can't do this alone. At least I was not able to do it alone.
Mm.
But if you find the right supportive people, especially holistic practitioners who really can work at a deep level with you, it is possible. I mean, in my line of work now, I've seen people recover from cancer, multiple sclerosis. I've cured from ME, all kinds of illnesses. So good health is possible.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that because I think having the empathy of walking the path with people, but also helping others, you have a unique perspective on that. I loved reading in your chapter about a lot of things, the transformational breath work that you're doing was one of them. But also you have these seven I guess it was like 7 points of your overall wellness plan, and you might not have your chapter in front of you, but I do. And so
Okay.
you have seven wellness practices. So you had service to others, physical exercise, diet, spiritual connection, mindfulness, sleep hygiene, and creativity. And you really expanded on those really well and how they impact your own wellness. So if anyone's listening, I really recommend that you do go get the book. It's called Superconscious Wellness. The link's underneath this video. I really recommend you get it, and you do read Helena's chapter because it's really great. But since we're here, I'd love for you to expand on some of those. So the first one was service to others, or do you actually did you know these off by heart? Do you or
Can't say I know them off by heart, Chris, but service to others. So, at the end of my journey to regaining full health, that seemingly wasn't enough. There was this call in me to now
mm,
share my story. So the service to others is about working intimately with people, and I use transformational breath particularly. I also work with the journey, magnetic mind. I've studied the
yeah,
Enneagram, and all of these help. And also with a background in psychology and education, to work quite at a deep level with people. And so when I work like that, it inspires me, gives me energy. It's not like
yeah.
I'm lacking in energy. So for me, that is part of the full recovery.
Yeah, and I love that. Maybe I'll leave the other six for the listener to go and get from the chapter because I'm just so intrigued to hear more about this transformational breath work. Like you've already mentioned it, I've mentioned it. You talk about it in the chapter. It's something that you discuss in depth, and I'd love to hear about it, why it's so important because it doesn't seem obvious that breath work. I chuckled as I read your chapter. You said. Yeah, I sit down and breathe for 20 minutes a day or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, me too. Just being funny. I was like, yeah, I do that too. In fact, I do 24 hours. But there's something that intimately about transformational breath work. So please fill us in. What is that? Why is it important? How can someone get started?
Transformational breath is an open mouth, conscious, connected breath. Judith
Mm,
Kravitz is the founder of this method. It is amazing. I came upon it in about 2013. And when I saw the first demonstration of somebody breathing with an open, healthy breath, that is from your pubic bone right up to your throat. So your whole body is open, and you're using a diaphragmatic breath. There's nothing else going on. Your focus is just on breathing. So when you do that, Chris, your body kind of softens and opens. You're allowing a lot of air in, a lot of oxygen in. And for me, of course, it began to oxygenate my cells because I was totally lacking in energy. And to be honest, I had never breathed below my navel. I never lived in that part of my body before. So on a physical level, I could see my energy was improving every day by breathing. And then on an emotional level, I would feel calm and peaceful and more connected to myself. And on a spiritual level, it gave me access to higher levels of consciousness and my higher self. So as soon as I found transformational breath, I was hooked. I did it daily. I would not miss transformational breath for any day for years and years, because that was the one thing when I couldn't really, talk or walk or do anything. The only thing I knew I could rely on was my breath.
Mm.
So my breath became my friend, and
Mm.
transformational breath is extremely powerful. I just did a workshop here on Sunday with newbies. People come, they're quite cynical and, oh, I breathe all the time. And within, 10 minutes of lying down, breathing, and I facilitate that. So I put my hands on their bodies and they make some sound. Basically, their body is giving expression to what's going on in there, but with no words. There's no talking, so it bypasses the mental part of oneself. So transformational breath for me is kind of key. It's fundamental. I still do it nearly every day. If I'm busy, I'll take 10 to 15 minutes. If I have a lot of time, I'll do 45 minutes. I'll put on some music. I have a nice place, in the house where I go to, it's quiet and I'm not interrupted, and I get on with my breath work. You don't need anyone to facilitate. This is a self-facilitation. It's absolutely profound what can be done. So
Wow.
transformational breath is, well, we've our own website in the UK, www.transformationalbreath.co.uk. And there's lots of information on my own website, www.integrativeassociates.co.uk. Yeah,
Yeah, well, we'll make sure to have your link underneath this video and in the show notes. People can go check that out because I think it's very
yeah,
intriguing, especially to that person who maybe is experiencing, chronic health, and there isn't anything else they can do. They can at least start there. That's fabulous. It's really, really nice. And so I love your contribution to this book, and I'm so grateful that we put it out there. Superconscious wellness is about being a creator, being focused on creating wellness, not fixing. And what you've added to the book is a really, really beautiful addition. And I do hope that everyone listening takes action and goes and gets their copy of the book. And here's why is there's 12 of us that have all had to write one chapter and answer questions, just one, and we're all experts in the field, and we've had to write one chapter each, and so it's this real condensed information. Helena, it's a real, I know you haven't read it yet, I've read it, but it's out to everyone watching this. It's available and you can go and get it. And so, look, we just wanted to have a short conversation today, and I think people have really got a lot out of this. Would you have a final message to anybody out there listening about wellness, about anything at all that's on your heart, just to share with people who are wanting to be a creator of their own wellness?
I think my key message is be yourself. Um, find a way to express yourself. I did it through writing poetry, still do that, through
Mm,
singing, just being oneself fully. And whatever's going on, acknowledge it, don't fight it, but find other people to support you and find good people to hang out with who reflect back to you that, you know, wellness is our birthright. That is the truth. That's what I now believe, and that's what I teach others. It's your birthright to
mm,
be well, to be healthy, to be vibrant, to be creative.
mm.
So, yeah, just don't give up. Don't give up.
Yeah. And don't settle. So often people are settling with, oh, I guess, this is good enough, or they don't. I think a lot of people then don't
Yeah.
even know how good they could feel, you know.
Yeah. Do you know, that is so true, Chris, because for so long, if you're feeling bad, you accept that as the norm. You don't realize there's anything outside of it. And,
Mm,
it's like meeting people like you and Judith Kravitz and Brandon Bays and Russ Hudson. These were the people who made it possible for me to see, oh, there's something much greater. I don't have to
mm,
settle. So, I'm now in my late 60s and I have more energy and more vitality and, optimism and things I want to do at this age than I did have 25 years ago.
mm. It's like you're doing life in reverse.
Yeah, in many ways, yeah. Yeah. But
You
just to
did,
say as well, intergenerational stuff has a huge effect on us. For me, it was a
right.
lot about my family's legacy. I didn't realize I was carrying such emotional baggage, trauma from
Yeah.
past generations. So that's a part that has to be looked at.
It is. Yeah, it is. I found that with a lot of people I've looked at. And a funny story, I was in Ireland and over Christmas this last year, and we spent Christmas in Ireland, and
Okay.
we have, and we saw, and this is in 2024, right? So this is just last year. There was still an advertisement saying that pregnant women should have Guinness because it's got lots of iron in it and one Guinness a day, and we were gobsmacked that that was still, like because it's got alcohol, right? Like, and
Yeah.
now we were like, wow, it is crazy just what information we're given in the medical world, and then they go against it, a few decades later or whatever. And and so it is important that you understand that we are the children of people who maybe got misguided information, or had hard times, and we get the opportunity. It's a blessing. We get the opportunity to let it go for them and be the leaf at the end of that family tree branch that gets to experience thriving. So yeah, I really, agree with you on that. It's a big deal, how much.
It is. It is
Mm,
a big deal. And it's just that you don't consciously know this. I
yeah,
mean, for me, well, what's started happening was things would come to consciousness about my ancestors that I would be shocked. And I'm like, no, that couldn't be
yeah,
true. And then I talk to other
yeah,
family members, my siblings, and between us, like we confirmed lots of things that we couldn't, it came through intuition. And then
yeah,
once that happened, it was a case of, well, now you've got to work with it. What are you going to do here? So I'm very fortunate to know somebody here in the UK who does a lot of clearing and
yeah,
personal clearing and ancestral healing and, working with him as well. I was able to
yeah,
shift, and my whole family has shifted this
yeah.
heavy stuff. In fact, over Easter, we've just had a family gathering where we shared openly all of this kind of stuff. It was amazing because we
Wow,
were
that's
quite a
truly amazing.
closed family. We would not talk about
Yeah, yeah,
intuition, spiritual
yeah.
things, and to find eight of us speaking our hearts, it was just wonderful. That in
Wow.
itself, if you can do that as a family, I mean, it requires work to start with because
Yeah,
you need to
yeah,
be open yourself, but it's just
yeah.
tremendous.
Oh, Helena, I love it. I feel like we could talk about this forever. And I'm sure that you do in all your seminars. You've got a real passion for this. I
Yes.
really love it. So if someone's listening and maybe they have a chronic illness or they're interested in transformative breathwork, how can they get in touch with you? Do they just go to the website or send you an email? What's the best way for
Yeah,
someone to
so
get in contact?
they can come to my website and read about transformational breath, and I have some videos and pictures on there. Um, I do online work, so I'm able to do transformational breath one-to-one online. I run
Wow.
events here in North London as well, where
Wow.
you can come and do two breath sessions in a day. A breath session takes about an hour, maybe over an hour each time. Um,
Wow.
so, I love working with people. I love to see people empowering themselves. And that's what I'm about. It's not for me to be the fixer, the healer. It's for me to just
Yes.
facilitate and teach you a technique, or several techniques actually I now have under my belt that you can
I
use for
can
yourself.
tell. I can tell you're rattling them off, and I can even see, our certificate in the background. So,
Yes.
you definitely found your genius, and I love that, and I loved your chapter. And so, you know, listeners, take action. If you're inspired by what you're hearing here, go to Helena's website, get yourself into a online breathwork session if that's what you need. But act. You got to take action. But most importantly, get our book, because the book, Superconscious Wellness, is life transformative. And we would just love you to have it in your hands. We really would. We put a lot of effort into it. Each chapter is amazing, and it's going to help you get some answers and find some people that can help. So, Helena, thank you for spending some time. I know it's early over there in the UK, spending some time with me today. And everyone listening, stay focused, stay magnetic. Go check out what this amazing lady is up to. Click on the links underneath this video, buy a book, and, create the life you love. Talk to you all soon.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's been a privilege, really. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Helena. Bye, everybody. Bye.